and welcome to Blinkers Off. It's great to be back for another show. And what a show we got lined up. We've got plenty to talk about. We've got the Gold Coast races, and we've got the group racing there with the Hollandale Cup, the Prime Minister's Cup, the Ken Russell Memorial, and the Silk Stocking. There's loads to get through. We've got so much. As well, we've got sports. And as well, don't forget to get online to the Magic Millions website at magicmillions.com.au and check out their website. The online catalogue is available, so get on there and check out the weanlings and the mares and the yearlings that are going to be up for sale in the National Yearling Sale. As well, I just wanted to say to all the viewers, we're giving away some tickets to the BTC Cup Day. As well, we've got general admission tickets to the Victorian Racing Club and the Australian Jockey Club. But firstly, just follow us on Twitter. We're going to give away the tickets to the BTC Cup there, thanks to the BRC, who are great supporters of the show, and we'd like to thank them. As well, the Victorian Racing Club, we're giving away a number of tickets to double passes to Flemington and Caulfield races, as well the Australian Turf Club, the ATC, where they're giving us a number of double passes for viewers every week. They're available to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, where the questions, and we'll be giving them away there. Now, joined on the panel, we're joined by big-time footy coach and footy analyst Ben Perkins and racing editor from the Courier Mail in Nathan Exelby. But firstly, Ben, welcome, mate, and great to have you back again, and that shiny head shining.
Well, I'll tell you what about Umasaga last week? Chris Anderson's horse that we spoke about, that I really like this horse, Umasaga, and the way it won at Sunshine Coast, it came right down the outside, down the middle of the track, and I thought it's a nice horse, good horse to follow. Umasaga, Chris Anderson, he can train.
He can train, and it was a great effort by Umasaga. I'm also joined by racing editor from the Courier Mail, Nathan Exelby. Welcome, Nathan.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. It's nice to be here. A little bit to live up to with Ben here as well, but I feel I'm ahead already in the hare stakes. So
Mate,
at least I've got one on the board.
You're well in front. It's 1-0. Now, you got all the news. What sort of the news from around the trap, so you can tell the punters out there?
The final Group 1 races done and dusted in Sydney, it's all about Brisbane now. The nominations for all of our Group 1 races came out this week, first of which is the BDC Cup, 15 noms for that. Early markets buffering the $2.80 favourite, and as it's been in previous years, the 3-year-old looks the big danger at this stage. Sidestep went up $4.50 there. Then you go out to Spirit of Boom and Snitzerland and horses like that. But buffering, trying to crack for his first Group 1 win in Brisbane this winter carnival.
Yeah, be looking for a hometown win there. Is he up to it?
Oh, he's definitely up to it. I think you take out Lankan Rupee, who proved himself the best. Buffering's next best. He battled on well in the TJ Smith there. He put the 3 Group 1 wins on the board over the spring. I think it's his time in Brisbane, and he's got the nice double there, the BDC Cup and the Doomben 10,000. Stradbroke be a tougher order. He'll get a fair whack of weight this year.
Now, Ben, we're going to look firstly at race 6 here, the Prime Minister's Cup over the 1300. Oh, how'd you fare up here?
Well, I think it's a very tricky race. Now, the weather's going to be obviously a big factor because there's a big cold front coming through. So I've picked out a horse that should be around the $10 to $12 mark in Final Crescendo. It's 2 out of 2 at this track. Kelly trains it, and obviously that it did race in lesser company at this track when it won, but I just thought it's a horse a bit on the up. Then I put in like 2 horses that are good.
I was watching Crescendo on Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
He did gallop well. Just for the information out there, he did gallop very well. So
yeah, he was
could be a bit of a lead.
Scratched last week and saved. Then I thought Philadelphia was a very nice run last start. The mare from the Heathcote camp. And
she's class.
I tell you what, if the rain does come, I'll be tossing out everything and I'll be going Benny's Buttons and making it #1 pick, because Benny's Buttons is going superbly well. Really like it as a horse, and if the rain comes, get on Benny's Buttons. And Beltone, I watched it trial and gallop recently. He's a real old professional who just knows what he's there to do, and Kelso Wood trains this horse as well as Benny's, and he's always thereabouts. He's a good horse.
Nathan, just looking at the race, what have you made of it?
It's a difficult race. I know my record at the Gold Coast is disastrous, and you go back through the records and just wonder why I bet there, to be brutally honest.
I'm the same as you. I'm terrified of the Gold Coast.
In fact, I love betting there, and I'll tell you why I like betting there. I always find one of the greatest secrets to betting there is backing local trainers because I think the horses there that race on that track have an added advantage, and I think local jockeys there that ride there week in, week out have that added advantage because it is a two-turning track. That home turn seems to get a few of those jockeys, and they go a bit early.
Yeah, well, maybe Benny's on the right track with Final Crescendo, but I'll throw that out the window and roll out the carpet. Interesting runner from New Zealand. She was a Group 1 winner as a 3-year-old back home. She only raced twice in the whole of 2013. Her 3 runs back have all been good, not far away in a Group 1 race last time. She's the first of the Kiwi Raiders we see here at the Carnival, and off the good gate, I think she'll race well, roll out the carpet. And
Who trains that horse?
Well, I'll find out for you. Mark Duplessis rides.
Emily Brown. There you go. Emily Brown. I don't know much about her.
No, neither do I.
Mark Duplessis.
I know about him.
Yeah, he rides well.
He can sit on.
Oh, yeah.
But, like I say, the 3 runs back have been good. The fact they've brought her out for the Carnival, I think she's primed to run a good race here.
Yeah, and on the limit there, well in at the weights, and if it does become a rain-affected track, those lower-weighted horses are definitely going to find the advantage. Now, myself here, as Ben pointed out, I'm sticking with number 2, Benny's Buttons. I think this form's on. This horse is in good form. He did trial prior to his last start second and looked exceptionally well, and he came out and he ran up to that run. I've got him on top. From Transporter, 5 Dancers on Star, the Gerald Ryan trained horses in good form, and 3 Philadelphia. Now viewers, I've just got one here for you, number 14, Trombone Alley. This horse could win.
You're kidding
at
me.
60 to 1.
Oh,
I tell you what, I tell you, look,
You'll be marching off down a dead-end alley with that, marching up against the wall, you'd be like... You're kidding.
I'll tell you what, it'll if there's no speed on the race, this horse will go straight to the lead.
There's no speed on in the race.
It'll lead.
These are good horses. There's speed in there. These are good horses.
I'm just saying, at big odds, he could run a play.
Do you think it's a Class 6 sort of horse, Trombone Alley? Or?
I did, and then I won that listed race over the Summer Carnival, where I would have said the same thing as you before.
Where was it at? At the Gold Coast.
Yeah, well, it's one of the track, one of the distance, could be one at odds for your multiples. Anyway, we're going to go to a commercial, but stay with us. We've got sports news. Who's going to be the next Manchester United manager as well? I caught up with Greg Hall down at the track, and he's got a great story coming up for you. Here I am at Back to the Track with Greg Hall after the commercial. Okay, during the week I was down at the track, and I happened to catch up with Greg Hall, and we sat down and had a bit of a chat, and a very interesting character. And here I am at Back to the Track having a chat with ex-superstar jockey Greg Hall. I'm joined by colourful ex-jockey and well known in the ranks, who's now retired, Greg Hall, and welcome to the show, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Jess. It's nice to be here, and it's been a while since I've been on camera, but come down the Gold Coast this morning and catching up with Dave Kelly and his young apprentice, the young Japanese boy, and having a bit of look at him, and just good to be back at the track though.
Mate, it's great to see you. You're looking well, and you've had such an illustrious and colourful career, and what are some of the highlights over your career?
Well, I've been pretty lucky, Jess, but in saying that, you know, it wasn't easy. When I started, it was my first ride when I was 14, and 7-year apprenticeship at Jaquita Lodge, and famous old stable at the back of Flemington there, but it was 7 days a week and $5 a week, so you got to work hard for it. And down the track, mate, as we know, I had a bit of success. I won the Adelaide, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne Cup, and 2 Golden Slippers, 7 Derbies, and Cox Plate, and 3 Blue Diamonds, and 150 something odd group races. But you know, I was sort of a late mature. It didn't sort of really all happen till I was 30. So, but I worked hard, and was fortunate enough to ride for some great owners, as in Lloyd and Kerry Packer and Sheikh Mohammed, and travelled most of the world. And so, but it didn't come without a price, you know. Broke my neck and back and 12 ribs and collarbone, and unconscious a few times, and so it takes a lot of work, but it all sounds good and that, but it takes hard work, and it doesn't come without a price either. But we're still here to talk about it anyway. So yeah, I enjoyed my time. Yeah, rode with some great people like Larry Olsen and Mickey Dittman and Roy Higgins, and the list goes on, you know, right up to the Beedmans and Olivers, and yeah, so we had a good bit of fun. I missed the camaraderie in the room, actually.
You talk about you've ridden against, in so many decades, there's such a range of jockeys. Who would you put in your top five most competitive jockeys?
Well, I mean, when I started young, I mean, obviously Harry White and Mick Dittman and Roy Higgins, I mean, I looked up to all of those guys, and Peter Cook, and but then in the middle stages, you know, Jimmy Cassie and I were we were great rivals, and were very competitive, and Jimmy's still doing well too, and we're great mates, you know. When we're out in the course, we had a few hiccups, Jimmy and I, but he got the better of me though when the end he beat me on Might and Power with the Remus. But
Might and Power shook off linesman though at the 300. He raced out by 2 lengths with the Remus challenging. Ebony Groves getting a rails run, followed by Grandmaster and Markham. Might and Power the leader inside the 200, 2 lengths in front of linesman, and then DeRemus on the outside. Might and Power the leader. DeRemus trying hardest, coming at him. Might and Power and DeRemus. DeRemus getting to Might and Power. They hit the line. Photo. Oh, nothing between them. DeRemus or Might and Power in a close go. Photo third, either Markham or Harbour Dews is there. Back behind those linesmen, Greg Hall is the whip in the air. He thinks he's won. Number 3, Might and Power has held on to win the Melbourne Cup by a nose from DeRemus.
With DeRemus, but no, we're great mates, and it's good to see him still riding Group 1 winners. But I'd have to say at the later stages, you know, there's none better than Damien Oliver and Darren Beedman, you know, and they're right up there with the greats. There's no doubt about that.
You just mentioned riding for Packer and Sheikh Mohammed, and what was it like riding for Packer in those days, being such a big punter, nothing fearful for throwing $1 million on one, and what was it like knowing that you're riding for an owner that's probably going to throw $1 million on it? You're probably in for a nice little cut. What's the pressure like?
Yeah, well, I was I was fortunate enough to ride for a young bloke, Mark Reed, who was a famous rails bookmaker when I was young, in my 20s, and sort of pressure didn't. He was the biggest punter at the time in those days, and he used to tell me what he'd have on him and that, and I sort of, and his quote was in the book of mine that, you know, I thrived on pressure, you know, and it was sort of big races, and whether it was punting wise or Group 1 races, I enjoyed the pressure, you know, and so it sort of just fell into place for me. But I remember Kerry one day, once I got to know him and that, and he's a terrific guy, and he's passed away now, as we know, but he come a year suddenly come down for the Derby and the Cup Day, and I was riding Mahogany in the VRC Derby, and he was standing there in the top hats and tails with Lloyd, and Lloyd's very conservative, and Kerry can be a bit boisterous, and he said, "Hey, Greg," he said, "what do you think, son?" He said, "You reckon this horse can win or what?" And I said, "Oh, how much you had on it, KP?" Which is a bit unusual for a little 4-foot jockey to be asking a man worth $12 billion, you know, how much has he had on it. And this is tongue-in-cheek, of course. And I said, "How much you had on it, boss?" He said, "What are you talking about, son? How much have I had on it?" He said, "I've had 1.6 million on it." And they said, "Jockey's up." And as I walked off, I said, "What'd you drop your handbag?" I said, "Go and have a decent bet." I said, "This will win by a minute." Anyway, he said to Lord, he said, "Oh, I like that kid." So he went and had another 3 million on it, and it won by 7 lengths. So I didn't really worry me. So they were good days, you know, and he was a character, and I was very fortunate to be able to ride for him for 20 years, you know. Well, I started off with Lloyd, and then Lloyd become best mates with Kerry. That's how that come about, yeah.
Greg, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and mate, hopefully you can join us on the show sometime in the future again.
Anytime, Jess. It's been my pleasure, and wish you all the best with the show, boys. Say hello to Larry for me. Catch you later.
Well, it was just great there catching up with Greg Hall and Ben. I was just looking at that photo finish, I could have sworn DeRemus had won that race.
No,
I was absolutely convinced. Were you?
Totally convinced, absolutely.
Oh, geez, I tell you. Now we're just going to go to a break, but before we do, a quick bit of sports. We got a bit of racing news. Rick Hall-Lacey, he's retiring mid-May. He's giving the game away. Philip Stokes, he's gearing Hucklebuck up for the Brisbane Carnival. We've got Arabian Gold. He's heading to the Doomben Roses and the Doomben Cup. And Craig Williams, he's off to Japan. He's up there now. And Ben Mellum's recommencing track work and returning from a hip operation, as is Greg Hall's son, Nick Hall. He's returning. And Platinum Rocker on Saturday be very hard to beat. Now we're going to go to a break, and straight after, it's Sports Talk. Okay, it's Sports Talk. We're going to talk AFL, NRL and a bit of New South Wales Rugby League and a bit of EFL and a bit of Intrust Cup. Ben, firstly, Collingwood Carlton.
Well, I'm going Collingwood. I reckon Buckley
The Pies are going to smash
Buckley and Eddie taking on old Mickey Malthouse.
Oh. What does Eddie think of Mick?
He thinks he's something, and it's not that good. So I just can't see Buckley losing this game. I can't see Collingwood. They'll be too powerful around the ball. And the goal they got the other day when it went bang, bang, bang.
Oh, geez, I tell you.
Yeah, that was a great goal. It was Collingwood as a team. They're playing as a team.
They're starting to play as a unit.
And they're really hunting impacts. And at this time of the year, they'll brush Carlton aside.
I think they'll crush them too. The other game is the local derby, West Coast and Freo. Ben, Freo, are they on the slide? Will Ross Lyon, stated, never win a premiership? Well, yeah, you see him faring up.
Yeah, well, I said years ago when Ross Lyons wouldn't get me in to help Nick Riewoldt, I said, well, if you're not going to get me in to help your own players and your coaches are doing rubbish at it, he let Riewoldt rot, miss goal after goal, season after season, and he just let it happen. So to me, Ross Lyons is no genius, and his players are already not playing consistent, tough, hard footy. Like last year, every week they were pretty reliable to put in, and already they're having off days.
Yeah,
so
it's a worry. But West Coast aren't kicking straight, so where do you go?
Yeah, but the Eagles at least get the home crowd this week, and that's worth 3 or 4 goals.
So they'll be hard to beat.
I hope so.
Now we're going to look at race 7 here, the Hollandale Cup, the major race on the program. Nathan, it's sort of, how do you see the race unfolding?
It's not an overly strong weight for age race. The one horse in the race proven at weight for age is Streamer, winner of the Group 1 George Main last preparation. She had a torrid run in the Doncaster and she battled on okay in the Queen of the Turf last time. This is a nice progression, but I'm going with the up-and-comer Janoob. I like the way he progressed through that Sydney Carnival. He towed up the Sydney Cup Quinella nice and easily, eased down the last little bit. 28 days between runs here. I think 1800 will suit. I think he will take the step to weight for age and announce himself as the one to beat in the Doomben Cup. But Ben disagrees with me.
Well, he disagree with anyone on anything.
Yeah, but
Willie, you can't go wrong. He's flying.
My computer has spat out.
Your computer's spat out.
It spat out that Janoob is a $4.20 chance, and they're offering you $2.50. And if you take unders against my computer, you're going to come out a loser. So I'm going for Moriarty.
What is his computer day? His computer goes out to the track and watches these horses.
No, I'm telling you.
What does it do? Got legs?
No, we put the information and then it spits out the prices. And I tell you what,
reliable person entering the information.
So does it come from this? Does it come from
I might have a few twitches here and there, but sometimes we get my prices are pretty damn good, I reckon. So I'm taking on Janoob. It's also got Gate 9, and the secret teachings don't like it from Gate 9. So I'm going for the stablemate Moriarty, and I think Streamer's the danger. And at 50 to 1, everyone who knows me knows that I love horses having their 17th start. Their 17th start horses run well. This horse is El Mantosh is 60 to 1. I'm throwing it in everything because it's a 17th start.
60 to 1, well, it reflects your age. Is that why you like him at 60?
Don't say that. I'm on all sorts of drugs.
Now, myself, I like, as Nathan mentioned, this Group 1 horse Streamer. I've got it on top. I think she's the class horse. I think she's the best horse in the race. I like the 550 on offer, and I'll take a bit of it. I think she'll win. I got Janoob in as the main danger, Moriarty, and number 11, Angel of Mercy. Now we're going to take a look at race 8. Nathan, have you had a look at the race?
It's a tough race, the Gold Coast Guineas. I think Darley won it last year with Academus. I think Havana is a very promising horse. Very impressive midweek winner, and then its preparation derailed with the wet tracks there in Sydney. Scratched a number of times. Eventually they went to the post on a slow track. Ran okay there at Randwick. I think it'd be better for that run, and provided the rain stays away, I think Havana is a really promising horse.
Ben?
Well,
Havana?
I know.
Paul Mazzara, Blake Shin?
Yeah, no, I put it in for fourth as my fourth pick.
What did the computer spit it out at?
8-1,
Ooh,
which
8
I
to
think
1,
is.
eh?
I thought that was a cruel price because it's better than 8-1 chance, I thought. But Dothraki. Now Nash Rawilla is riding this horse very well. It's a horse who needs standover tactics. Gerald Ryan has been told over and over that we are not going to deball this horse. And he wants to deball it. He does. He thinks that the horse will improve 5 or 6 lengths. But I'm hoping that Nash, his tough, honest application of the whip, keeps this horse honest. If the track is okay, I think Dothraki will race up in the first 3 and be hard to beat. Now, NQR, what do you think about NQR first up?
It's drawn off the track here, so she showed last preparation she could go
good
forward
horse.
or back. So if the pattern says that you can run on, and she handles wet or dry as well, she's very, very good filly, isn't she?
No, I think she's a good
The
horse.
racing pattern at the coast over the last month, they have been coming from behind, so it might pan out that way again.
And Kelso's got Into the Red first up. He's never been able to get this horse properly tuned up. It's always had these little niggling troubles. But if he can get this horse right, it's a very good horse fresh.
Yeah, righto. Now, I like Londa Hero. I think, what do you think of him?
Matthew Dunn.
Matty Dunn. I like the locals. Glenn Collis, Barrier 3. It's got a lot going for it. By Lonro, likes the dry track, likes the wet track.
No, it doesn't like the
Didn't
wet
like
track
the wet
much.
last time there at
Went
south.
for a trip and got smashed.
Yeah, well, maybe he just bounced back.
Not a wet tracker.
The Lonros generally like the wet, so you never know. He might just handle the Gold Coast wet because it's a different type
It
of
won't be
wet.
as wet as it was there.
No,
at,
that was
That's if it is wet. So I like Londa Hero anyway.
Yeah,
So I've got Londa Hero on top. Now we're just going to talk sort of games of the week. In the Intrust Cup, we've got South Logan Magpies versus the Ipswich Jets at Davies Park, Sunday 2 p.m. We did mention the Walker boys, Ipswich Jets. They got over the Dolphins away. It was a great
Ben
win.
and Shane, they did tip me that they're good tipsters, Ben and Shane. They're terrific. They're good coaches too. The players love them.
They do. Now the NRL, we've got Fafita returns for City Country. Australia and New Zealand playing. Australia New Zealand test match at this time of year. Then you got State of Origin. It's absolutely stupid planning. Stupid planning. They shouldn't even be playing. Australia just wins. Simple as that. NRL, Fafita signs with Cronulla. City Country.
Who cares?
Country. As well, in the VFL, you got Sandringham, Essendon, to Sunday 2 p.m. Trevor Baker, Beach Oval. You've
Trevor
been there?
Barker, I used to know Trevor Barker.
Did you?
Oh, he came to Brothers Rugby Club on a Sunday one day, and I said, "Are you Trevor Barker?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm here with Coca-Cola." And I've tried to get the people around saying, come on, this is Trevor Barker for St Kilda. He's an absolute star. He's a freak. One of the greatest marks you've ever seen. No one had heard of him.
No one.
No one had heard of him. I was the only one there.
Well, there you go.
Who-
Yeah.
Oh, he was great. I always remember that. He was a really nice guy. Yeah.
Nathan, your best bet on the program.
We'll go to the Ken Russell. I think Sagatona. She's yet to win in 5 starts, but she's been good each time. Damien Brown takes the ride this time. She draws well, which she hasn't often done in her career. I think she strikes a winnable race here. So Sagatona in the Ken Russell.
Benny?
On a dry track, it's Platinum Rocker in race 5. On a wet track, it's
agree.
Benny's Buttons.
Now remember, my best is streamer each way. Also, you can check out the RIQ app. It's got all your racing news, stories and selections on there. My best bet, streamer. Now, that's all. Ben, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
God willing.
Nathan, great to have you on
Thank
for the
you.
first time.
Appreciate the offer. Thank you, Jesse.
And I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future. That's all we have for you tonight. Remember, get the app and join us next week. Same place, same time, and don't forget streamer. Bye for now.